Today, we delve into the powerful speeches of one of history's most notorious figures, Adolf Hitler. His charismatic oratory skills and the impact of his words on the masses are subjects of both fascination and caution. From the early years of his rise to power to the height of World War II, Hitler's speeches were instrumental in shaping public sentiment and rallying support for his ideology. Join us as we explore the mesmerizing delivery, nationalist fervor, and propaganda tactics employed by Hitler. From his infamous "The Total War" to his speeches proclaiming the establishment of the Greater German Reich, each address reveals the dark charisma that captivated millions. On February 10, 1933, Adolf Hitler delivered his significant speech, Proclamation to the German Nation, in Berlin. This address marked a pivotal moment in German history as Hitler had recently ascended to the position of Chancellor. In this speech, Hitler laid out the core principles and goals of the Nazi Party, setting the stage for the radical transformation of German society. With his charismatic oratory skills, Hitler captured the attention and imagination of the German people. He employed powerful rhetoric, emphasizing the importance of nationalism, racial purity, and anti-Semitism. Hitler's speech aimed to consolidate his authority and rally support for the Nazi Party's vision of a totalitarian state. In his proclamation, Hitler spoke of the unity and strength of the German nation, stressing the need for a national rebirth. He blamed the political establishment and the Treaty of Versailles for Germany's economic woes, promising to restore the nation's dignity and prosperity. Hitler tapped into the frustrations and resentments of many Germans who felt betrayed and humiliated after World War I. The speech also revealed Hitler's deep-seated anti-Semitism. He scapegoated the Jewish population, accusing them of conspiring against Germany's interests. Hitler presented the Jews as a threat to the purity and unity of the German nation, using hateful rhetoric to manipulate public sentiment. This marked the beginning of the systematic persecution and later genocide perpetrated against Jews and other marginalized groups. Proclamation to the German nation showcased Hitler's ability to captivate and manipulate the masses. His words resonated with a disillusioned population seeking answers and direction. By exploiting their fears, frustrations, and desires, Hitler was able to consolidate his power and lay the groundwork for the totalitarian regime that would follow. On January 30, 1939, Adolf Hitler delivered a significant speech known as the Proclamation of the Greater German Reich. This address marked the 6th anniversary of Hitler's appointment as Chancellor of Germany and served as a platform to consolidate his power and reinforce the ideology of the Nazi regime. In his speech, Hitler celebrated the territorial expansion of Germany and proclaimed the establishment of the Greater German Reich. He highlighted the annexation of Austria and the Sudetenland as triumphs, framing them as necessary steps towards unifying all German-speaking people under one nation. Hitler presented this territorial expansion as a historic mission fulfilled, fueling nationalistic pride and reinforcing his image as a strong and visionary leader. The speech was infused with militaristic rhetoric, emphasizing the strength and unity of the German people. Hitler called for vigilance and preparedness, asserting that Germany must be ready to defend itself against external threats. He portrayed Germany as a powerful and assertive nation that would not be intimidated or subjugated. Additionally, the Proclamation of the Greater German Reich speech further reinforced the Nazi ideology of Aryan supremacy. Hitler emphasized the concept of racial purity and the superiority of the Germanic race. He vilified other ethnic and religious groups, particularly Jews, further fueling anti-Semitic sentiment and promoting a sense of nationalistic loyalty among the German population. This speech played a crucial role in shaping public opinion and solidifying Hitler's authority. It showcased his skill as an orator and his ability to manipulate emotions, presenting a vision of a united and powerful Germany under his leadership. On December 11, 1941, Adolf Hitler delivered a significant speech known as the Great Declaration of War against the United States. This speech marked a turning point in World War II as Hitler declared war on the United States following the attack on Pearl Harbor. In his address, Hitler sought to justify Germany's decision to enter into conflict with the United States. He framed the war as a defensive response to the United States' perceived hostile actions, citing America's support for Britain and its increasing military presence in Europe. Hitler argued that Germany had no choice but to counter this threat and protect its own interests. Furthermore, Hitler used this speech to galvanize the German people and rally their support for the war effort. He depicted the United States as an enemy of the German people, emphasizing America's involvement in what he considered to be a global Jewish conspiracy. Hitler drew upon anti-Semitic and nationalist sentiments, portraying the conflict as a battle against international Jewry and the forces that opposed German domination. The Great Declaration of War against the United States was a powerful speech that aimed to rally German morale and solidify the commitment to the war effort. Hitler's words were intended to portray Germany as a victim and to justify the expansionist ambitions of the Nazi regime. However, it is important to note that Hitler's justifications were based on distorted ideologies and false narratives. His speech ignored the fact that Nazi Germany had been engaged in a brutal war of aggression and had committed numerous war crimes and atrocities. On February 10, 1943, Adolf Hitler delivered a significant speech known as the Sportpalast speech in Berlin. This address was a rallying cry to the German people during one of the darkest periods of World War II. The speech aimed to boost morale, foster a sense of unity, and reinforce the belief in ultimate victory. Hitler addressed a packed Sportpalast arena, which was filled with party members, soldiers, and civilians. He began by acknowledging the challenges faced by Germany at that time, including setbacks on the Eastern Front. However, Hitler assured the audience that the German nation would prevail, emphasizing the importance of unwavering resolve and the will to fight. In his speech, Hitler employed powerful rhetoric to inspire and motivate the German people. He painted a vivid picture of the destiny of the German nation, asserting that they were a chosen people destined for greatness. Hitler evoked notions of national pride and sacrifice, calling upon every German to give their utmost for the nation's cause. The Sportpalast speech was not just a display of Hitler's oratory skills but also a platform for propagandistic manipulation. Hitler used selective information to create an illusion of impending victory, downplaying the dire military situation and the reality of the war. He sought to instill a sense of hope and confidence, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The speech also reinforced the Nazi Party's ideology and its commitment to Aryan supremacy. Hitler reiterated the need for racial purity and the elimination of perceived threats to the German people. He stoked anti-Semitic sentiments, blaming Jews for the global conflict and portraying them as enemies of the German nation. The Sportpalast speech, while a powerful tool for rallying support, was built on a foundation of lies and propaganda. It served as a reminder of the manipulative tactics employed by totalitarian regimes to maintain control and deceive the masses. On February 18, 1943, Adolf Hitler delivered a significant speech known as the Total War speech in Berlin. This address was a pivotal moment during World War II as Hitler sought to mobilize the German population for an all-out effort to overcome the challenges faced by Germany at that time. In his speech, Hitler acknowledged the gravity of the situation and the difficult circumstances Germany found itself in. He described the war as an existential struggle and emphasized the need for total mobilization of resources and effort. Hitler called for unity and solidarity among all Germans, regardless of their social or economic standing. The Total War speech marked a shift in German war strategy. Hitler recognized that victory could only be achieved through the complete commitment and sacrifice of the German people. He called for increased production, greater industrial output, and the utilization of all available resources in service of the war effort. Hitler's aim was to maximize Germany's military capabilities and increase its resilience in the face of adversity. Furthermore, Hitler used the speech to boost morale and maintain the support of the German population. He instilled a sense of determination and perseverance, highlighting the heroism of soldiers and civilians alike. Hitler sought to convince the German people that ultimate victory was still possible if they remained steadfast and dedicated. The Total War speech also served as a platform for Nazi propaganda and manipulation. Hitler portrayed the conflict as a struggle between good and evil, emphasizing the perceived threat posed by the Allied forces. He reinforced the Nazi ideology, calling for the elimination of perceived enemies and the preservation of German racial purity. And that brings us to the end of our exploration into the 5 powerful speeches of Adolf Hitler. Throughout history, these speeches have served as chilling reminders of the potential impact of persuasive rhetoric and manipulation of public sentiment. While we must never forget the atrocities committed under Hitler's regime, studying these speeches allows us to learn valuable lessons about the dangers of unchecked power, propaganda, and the importance of safeguarding democratic values.